This week's edition of Church Media Design TV is sponsored by dan'sinkintoner.com, ink and toner, and a whole lot more. And the Gurus of Tech Conference, July 13th through the 15th in Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the church media designer. Well, I'm really excited to be back with you guys this week, and if you've never been part of the show, welcome to the family. If you guys don't know what the show is all about, it's about how to use media in the church, whether it be graphics or video or sermon announcements or lighting or audio, the whole 9 yards. We cover it here because we want to help you guys use media to increase the kingdom. So, I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and joined with me, as always, it's the three wisest men I know. It's the three wise men in Jesus. We have Colonel Sanders, Little Whitey, Dwight Schrute, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. Well, on this week's edition of Church Media Design TV, we're going to be finishing up our review of MediaShout 4. We're going to be talking about some of the new features, the advanced features that I know you guys are wondering about and wondering how they work and if they work in the whole 9 yards. So we're going to be covering those, as well as we're going to give you some great inspiration, another freebie, and a whole lot more. So if the three wise men in Jesus are ready, let's get into it. Well, this week we have something old and something news. And this is maybe something you haven't heard about or something you already have heard about. And something you maybe already have heard about, but I wanted to bring to your attention, is videohive.net. Now, this is put on by the whole huge umbrella of websites of PSD Toots and themeforce.net and the whole 9 yards. Well, videohive.net got launched earlier this year, and it is royalty-free motion graphics and projects from $2. So you can get stock footage, you can get motion graphics, and you can get project files, which the project files are usually Flash, sometimes other things, but usually they're not Flash, After Effects. What am I thinking? After Effects. So you can check out a lot of different things in here. They got some really cool stuff that you can check out and implement into your project. So I want to encourage you guys to check out videohive.net. Now, something new is something we've actually already talked about, but they got some news going on over at videoteaching.com. Now, videoteaching.com is launched by lifechurch.tv, which happens to launch tons of stuff and has always got something new going on. Well, lifechurch.tv's videoteaching.com just announced who's going to be contributing. And you can still say who you'd like to contribute and submit that, but right now they are listing Mark Batterson, Francis Chan, Mark Driscoll, Brian Houston, Craig O'Shell, a whole bunch of different, Perry Noble, a whole bunch of different people. So they have a lot of great teaching on there. I'm not sure as of right now when it's going to launch, but you'll be able to get free video teachings from these guys to use in your church. So something to keep in mind. Also to keep in mind, the dump truck just drove by. But something to keep in mind, you can use it for your church, you can use for small groups, the whole 9 yards. So check out videoteaching.com and videohive.net. Well, this week we're going to finish up our review of MediaShout 4, and I'm going to cover some of the new and advanced features. So, as I said last week, just full disclosure, got the software for free from MediaShout to review for the show. I have no connection with them or any other software providers. I'm not receiving anything back from them, nor am I giving them anything in return. So, just wanted to make sure everybody understood that before we go through with the rest of the show. So here we go. We're going to talk about background mode. Background mode is something that you can find in ProPresenter. You can change out your backgrounds on the fly behind in the middle of a queue. In MediaShout 3.5, they made it so you could change out the background on each slide. So I'll show you quickly how you would do that. So let's pull in All Blessings Flow. We'll go into our editor, we'll go to background, and we can go in here and we can say, let's say the chorus, we want it to be teen worship. We'll hit apply, and now when we go and play, you can see that this slide has a new background, which is cool. But what happens if it's this big anthem chorus. We're singing a Hillsong song, and it's a bridge that, you know, the same power that conquered the grave lives in me, lives in me. And that's up there for 6 minutes, that same thing. But you want to change out and work with the mood and change the background out. That's where background mode comes in. So the way to access background mode is we're going to go to Files. I'm going to use one of my hot folders. I'm going to go to Freebies, and I'm going to change this to Array View. We're going to go to List. So here's my Freebies folder. I'm actually going to expand this out a little bit. Maybe we can do icons. No. View by type. No. We'll just do list. Okay, so here we got our list. I don't know why it's not giving me a vertical scroll bar, only a horizontal one. But we're going to click over into background mode. So now we're in background mode, and I can go and find, you know, some background. So let's pull in one of these random guys here. And as you can see, it's going to start doing its deal, and it's going to throw in that background. And again, if the footage is jumpy on the screen, it's because of our screen capture software, not because of MediaShout. The transitions on here are smooth. They go nicely. So we'll go back to we'll skip to another one of these guys, and you'll see that it starts fading in this crashing waves guy. And let's go to Dotch HD, and we'll fade in, and now we got some dots going on there, and so it's flowing in and out. Well, what if we want to change lyrics? Well, we can go over here and we can instantly click on a new lyric, and it automatically fades to the new lyric and that kind of thing. But what happens if we want to go back to normal? That's where we hit the normal button, and you'll see that it's kind of hard to tell, but it's kind of blinking back and forth over here in the corner. So as soon as we click on a new cue, it automatically goes back to the normal way, throws in the normal background, normal transition speed. So that's how you switch out of background mode. So it's not the most elegant thing to get in and out of, but it works, and it works pretty well. I saw a couple people in the Get Satisfaction for MediaShout that they were using it and had a few issues here and there of transition speeds, but overall it was working well for them. So that's one of the first big new features. It works with images and videos. Anything that you normally could play as a background, you can pull up in that library and just double click on it and it goes. If you're in normal mode and you double click on something, it just throws it over the top, as you can see here. So we'll just go to black. One thing I didn't cover last week in Firebox, if you go over here, you can change what the property is for these 4 different things. And this is also where you put up your little, your child is going crazy. And then you just hit the little key button, and it throws your child is going crazy on the screen. And then you can click that off. So that's just something to note as well. So now let's look at one of the other features, which is the PowerPoint song import. So we're going to go to Songs. We're going to click on the drop down here, and we're going to do Add Songs, and we're going to do Add Songs from PowerPoint Slides. So we're going to go find a song like Breathe, and we're going to do Open. And it's going to open up the Import Slides dialog box. And you'll see all of the different slides, and you can see the old PowerPoint blue to black gradient background. And we're going to select all of our slides. And you can convert the slide backgrounds if you wanted to, so you could add those in. That would save out a JPEG of the background. We're not going to worry about that. We'll set our own backgrounds inside MediaShout. We'll hit Next, and then we need to type in a title here. So we're going to type in the title of Breathe, and cue name is also going to be Breathe. And we can set our own custom ID, we can set our author, copyright, we can do all of that kind of stuff. We can also set it to a group. So we're going to put this in Brad's faves, and then we're going to hit Next. So now what you do is you select the text that you want, and then you just click in this area to add it as that thing. So, and any untagged text will be ignored. Now, one thing in playing with this, there's a few bugs. I'll let you know how to fix one of them. If you would just select this text and hit verse, you would have a problem. You really need to select this space in between and make sure that's selected, verse, good to go. Even though there's that space there still at the top, don't worry about that so much. We're just going to grab all of that, including our cursor on the next line, and we'll hit that as verse 2. And now we'll go in here and we'll grab this, and I'm actually going to grab the space above it just in case, and I'm going to set that as chorus 1. So now we can go in here and we can add, and here's the other problem that you can see is it's not auto updating my play order very well. We'll fix that later, but I'm just going to add them all into the play order, and then I'm going to hit import. We can import more, or we can hit OK, and now we can drag breathe over into our timeline, and you'll see that it has a blank, and it shows the title. There's the title slide, and then here's a blank, and then we have this is our daily bread, and it's all in there. Now I'll show you quickly what happens if you don't select that extra line. So we're going to go back. We're going to go to Add Songs from PowerPoint Slides. We'll do Breathe again. Open. Check all. Next. Title. Breathe. Broken. And we'll hit Brad's Faves. Next. Okay, so now I'm just going to select this. Hit verse 1. Now I'm going to do this guy, and it should do this for me. Verse 2, look at what happens here. We have random "oh me" here left at the end. I don't know why. We'll hit this as the chorus, and now "out you" is left. We'll do import, and for whatever reason, and we'll submit this into issues in the get satisfaction, you'll see in here that we now have some major problems. And first off, I need to add in, we'll add stanzas, we'll add a verse, we'll add verse 2, we'll add chorus 1, and you can see in here that this is the air I breathe, this is normal, this is kind of normal, but then all of a sudden after the word T or letter T, it gets pushed down to the next slide. Even though we selected that, it still had problems. And that's why we want to select that extra line even though nothing's on it. So that's just a word to the wise about that one. We can hit cancel. No, we don't want to modify that. And we will just delete this cue and this cue out of here. We'll actually delete all those cues. Let's go grab a new song. Let's go find maybe All Creatures of Our God and King. We'll bring this one in, and this is where I'm going to show you the time-based triggers. Now this is, I think this is, yep, time-based triggers, looking at my notes. Time-based triggers are basically you can go through and tell things to auto-advance. You can pre-record what you want to have happen. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to pull up All Creatures of Our God and King. Let's say we have this all good. Maybe we'll change out and add in a blank, and we'll put that blank down here, and we'll set the background of that blank to be like some new, we'll set that to be the twisting loop. Okay, there's an error code with that one, so we'll try something else. Purple spin. No. Purple spin loop. We have an error code that keeps popping up, and I don't know what that is, so we're not going to worry about that. So anyway, most likely it's the configuration of MediaShout 4 working with that video plugin that we talked about last week to make videos play better. I'm sure sometimes it gives it problems. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to, we have our whole song here, and we're going to go from simple to standard view, and we're going to go to the command tab. And there's a couple different things. You can do script control, you can do sound control, and you can do a new time-based trigger. So we're going to do a new time-based trigger. The one thing we maybe would want to do is go to let's go to our foreground, let's go to verse 1, and we can go to soundtrack, and maybe we want to start a sound. So we would insert a sound to have that sound automatically start up, because maybe we want to do this for kids. So all the lyrics automatically advance to a song, so you don't have to have somebody back there who's running it for you, because it's just your text linked up with a MP3 or WAV file that you have. So anyway, we'll go back over to command. We'll do a new time-based trigger. Time-based trigger requires saving all modifications. We're going to save all the modifications. And now it's going to pull up this little time-based trigger window. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit record, and actually we're going to close this. Let's do this first. Yes. We're going to close that. We're going to click here. We're going to start it right at the top of this queue. Now we'll edit the queue, go to the command tab, new time-based trigger, hit record. So now it's recording, and now we can either stop or we can play next. So after 4 seconds, we want it to play next. And then we wait a second, next slide. Maybe this is a real fast one, everyone's rapping out the words. And then we hit stop. So now we can actually go in and we can manually alter these, and we can say what the action is. I don't think you can change that action. You can only play next. So one thing you'll want to do is make sure you have all your verses and choruses laid out perfectly in order. You're not going to have the ability to jump back and forth. And now we have that done. And then we can hit the save, and we have saved that guy, and we can hit OK. And now what happens is when I click play here at the beginning, you will see that it auto advances as soon as it hits that marker. So it waits 4 seconds or 3 seconds or however long, and it's automatically advancing for us. So that's the basics of that time-based trigger. So it's a pretty cool feature. Again, I can see how it's really good for using in children's ministry and that sort of thing. You can always get out of it by hitting our awesome black button. So those are 3 of the biggest new features. You have your time-based triggers, you have your PowerPoint import, and also you have your background mode to do VJing and that sort of thing. So it's really cool. I did not show you live video feed or DVD playback because the DVD player in my computer is not great, and I don't have a camera hooked up for live video feed to show you how that worked. So those are 2 things that I'm not covering on today's show. If that's something you're really interested in and you really want to use, let me know via email. The one thing I do want to encourage you guys is to go download Handbrake instead of playing DVDs, because then you're playing a video file instead of waiting for a DVD to spin up and spin down, and you just run into a lot of problems. It's a lot better just to take that clip off the DVD, and again, watch out for copyright violations because you need to follow those. So those are a couple things about MediaShout 4. I would say overall this is a great step forward. Do I think it's the best software out there? No, I don't, but I know a lot of you guys don't have the ability to switch. I will say this about the whole Mac or PC argument in this thing. The Mac and PC argument comes into play that, well, ProPresenter's better and it's on a Mac and blah, 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 blah. Now, the reasons why I would agree with this is a few reasons. And the reasons that I feel bad for MediaShout are these. They're on a PC. They have 9,000 different processor, hardware, RAM, hard drive configurations, graphics cards, DVD players, all of these different things they have to deal with when developing software. When you're on a Mac, you have like 10. You have all of the same hardware configurations across the board. They change more frequently now, but overall it's pretty similar across the board. You can make your software, check it on 2 or 3 different machines, and know that it's going to run great on those 2 or 3 different machines. I custom built my PC. I know a bunch of other people who custom built theirs. There's so many different configurations that a PC authoring environment has to deal with. Also, the Mac has a lot of things. Their core graphics engine is built to handle programs like ProPresenter. It does a great job with them. The PC doesn't really have something like that. It doesn't have this core graphics engine that's helping with all of this stuff. The other thing that I will say is programs like ProPresenter and web applications like I can't even think of one off the bat, but the game has been taken up a lot. When I can download free software that does amazingly cool things, when I can download GIMP or Scribus or a million different like graphics pieces of software that are made for free, 100% free, that rival their competition that you have to pay for, the game has been taken up a notch. And I hope MediaShout hears this. The game has been taken up and you guys still aren't there. ProPresenter you can control from an iPhone. You can do, Easy Worship. The interface is so much cleaner. There's a lot of different things. The game has been taken up, and I think software companies need to pay attention to that. So those are a few of my things. Basically, the Mac versus PC thing, it's the operating system is helping out a lot in these situations to make one worse and one better. And I'm not saying that that operating system is worse or better than the other. They're just built to handle things differently. So there's my review of MediaShout 4. Love me, hate me, that's the way I feel about it. And you can send me feedback and hate mail at brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv. I would love to hear you guys' responses and comments about this and understand where you guys are at. Do I think all of you need to switch to a Mac and get ProPresenter? No, because I know it's not feasible. So this is a great piece of software. Still check it out. It does the job. It's gonna continually get updated. They offer free upgrades. So I know they're trying to take the steps in the right direction, but it's just gonna take a while. So there's MediaShout 4 for you. Well, this week for some inspiration, we have a website called behance or behance.net. Now this is creative portfolios, projects, and collaboration. So this is artists, a place for artists to put their stuff and show it off. And there's some amazing artists on here. This is a place that you can go find tons of different stuff. Now one thing that I wanted to take a moment and show to you is Steve Gooden. And Steve Gooden has some great projects, and we'll actually throw these up so you guys can see some of these things. But he did this one called Signal that is just unbelievable looking, and Blackout I saw a long time ago, but he has just got some amazing graphics on here. Really good stuff, and a great place to check out, hey, how did he use this wood texture on this Lollapalooza? I don't even know how to say that, but really cool stuff. Maybe we'll give you guys some inspiration on how to create some different graphics and how he combines elements together. I know a lot of it's done in 3D, but not all of it is done in 3D. So check out behance or behance.net/Demian1 for his portfolio, or just check out behance.net. Great stuff. Find some things and get inspired. This week I got another great freebie for you, or at least I think it's pretty good. It's a earth loop. It's a little setback in space. I actually created this for a outside project and we gave it away there, and so I'm giving it away here as well. It's a great, nice, I don't know, atmospheric piece that you can use. So check it out. It's in full screen and in widescreen, WMV and H.264 MPEG-4 files. You can get those at ChurchMediaDesign.tv. Use this in your services and gatherings, add it to your arsenal, and make use of it, because I know it will help enhance what you guys are doing, and who doesn't like a good freebie? So go download it today. We'd like to say thank you to one of our sponsors, DansInkandToner.com. Ink and toner and a whole lot more. You can head over to Dan's Ink and Toner and find out more about the wholesale program. You can find out about his leasing program, the whole 9 yards. You can do this really easily by clicking to sign up for the wholesale program. That'll send Dan your info. He'll give you a call, and you guys can discuss what's going to be best for your church, because Dan doesn't want to rip you off. He wants to help figure out what's the best way to do it. And if you sign up for the wholesale program using the promo code ChurchMediaDesign, you're going to get a 3-month risk-free trial of that program, where you're going to get ink and toner at cost, basically next day delivered. And it's just a great deal. I know we save like $1,200 a year at our church, and we have 2 printers. We don't do that much printing, and we save a lot of money. So I know if you guys have anywhere near more than anything, even 1 printer, you're going to save money. So check out Dan's Ink and Toner, submit your information, or give Dan a call. His phone number's down in the corner of the page, and you guys can find out a lot more about what he has to offer. Also, check out gurusoftech.com. Now, Gurus of Tech is a conference being put on July 13th through the 15th in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's being put on by the guys at Church Tech Talk, which is an audio roundtable podcast about church media. I've been on there before, as well as they put on the site stufficanuse.com, and they work at Southeast Christian Church and a couple different churches in the Louisville, Kentucky area. Now, this is going to be in their new multi-million-dollar youth facility. And the coolest part about it all, it's completely free. You don't have to pay a dime. You just got to worry about your transportation and your room and board and food, you know, just kind of some of the normal stuff that you got to pay for at every other conference, but you don't have to pay to get into this one. And there's going to be some great people there. Barton Damer from Echo and Collide and Igniter, he's going to be there, as well as the weekend lighting designer from Willow Creek's going to be there speaking. I'll be there speaking, as well as a lot of the guys from Church Tech Talk will be there talking about some different things. So I really want to encourage you guys to show up to this conference. It's going to be a great one. It's a round table, so it's all about sharing ideas. So check out gurusoftech.com and find the information on the Louisville event, and you'll find out more information there about that. So gurusoftech.com and danzinkandtoner.com. Check them out. Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV. I'm so glad you guys can be a part of this. One thing I do want to encourage you guys to do is to tell people about the show. I know there's a lot of other churches in every community you guys come from. I know that you guys have friends who work in ministry, or you have family that are doing some of this similar stuff. I really want to encourage you guys to spread the word about the show. If you have a blog or someplace, put a review on there. Even if it's bad, put a review on there and let people know about it. And if you guys do think the show is bad, you should probably tell me about it so I can try to fix it. Because I want to be here to help you guys, and I want to know the best way to help resource you guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. One thing I wanted to mention is subscribing for the newsletter, ChurchMediaDesign.tv/subscribe. Subscribe for our monthly email newsletter. Get freebies and tips and a whole lot of other stuff that you can find on there, as well as you can stay in touch with us on the website, ChurchMediaDesign.tv. You can hit us up on Twitter, twitter.com/CMDTV or AdamCMDTV. Email is brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv. You can hit me up on Skype. It's Vinmark Productions. I'm Brad Zimmerman on Facebook. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to find me. So, but the best way you can stay in touch is just by connecting through one of the many different ways, because I want to know what's going on, how you guys are using media, and it's great being in contact with those of you who I do know, and I love the conversations that we get to have. If you guys have any questions about MediaShout, anything you would like to have answered that I didn't cover, please send me an email and we'll maybe do another segment in another show if you guys have more questions of things that I didn't cover. So, as for me and the three wise men and Jesus, we're saying, see you later.